Of Duane's many musical partners, Dickey Betts was one of the most important. Their work together in the band's early days in Jacksonville inspired Duane to expand the band that he was forming. Lots of people talk about Dickey Betts being underrated, and it's true to a large extent. Like the Allman Brothers Band in general, Dickey Betts sometimes seems like a poorly kept secret, but a secret nonetheless. But many more of us hold Dickey in extremely high regard. I spent a lot of time thinking about Betts over the decades. I developed what became Play All Night, Duane Allman, and the Journey to Fillmore East. I've been most pleased with the response I've gotten on how I highlighted Dickey's importance in the book, and the countless times I've written and posted about him in the last 3 years. Here's a bit from Chapter 1, Duane's musical ethos. While it was not unprecedented for a band to have two lead guitarists, most two-guitar bands of the era featured one player on rhythm and the other on lead. The Allman Brothers' dual lead guitar approach was an outgrowth of each guitarist's virtuosity and the equal time they afforded one another as soloists. Indeed, each played lead guitar on nearly every Allman Brothers song, often in tandem. Duane and Dickey shared what longtime collaborator Tom Doucette called a, quote, profound musical love. They were very tight, and they had a lot of unspoken communication. Duane held Dickey in thrall. Duane played music the same way he rode his motorcycle and drove his car. He was a daredevil, just a triple Scorpio. God's on my side, wide open. That was part of the romance, and I loved Duane. It was a collaboration the guitarists honed on stage, in rehearsals, and in private conversation. What struck me when I first heard them playing together was how they didn't try to outdo each other, but instead supported one another, Doucette remembered. I had worked with the Butterfield Blues Band in Chicago, and all Butterfield and Bloomfield thought about was wasting one another. Some of the dynamic was built on mutual esteem, some on confidence, and much on approach. Duane and I had an immense amount of respect for each other, Betts recalled. We talked about being jealous of one another and how dangerous it was to think that way, that we had to fight that feeling when we were on stage. He'd say, when I listen to you play, I have to try hard to keep the jealousy thing at play and not try to outdo you when I play my solo, but I still want to play my best. We laughed about what a thin line that was. There was jealousy, Betts acknowledged, but it was so honest that it was healthy, and it just fired the energies that we did have. We just fired each other off. The competition was by design, Duane said. We can make each other better, then do something deep. He was probably the most honest player I've ever played with, reflected Betts. Man, he could get what was in his heart to come off the neck of his guitar. The connections between the two guitarists transcended music, Dickey said. There are very few times when two musicians come together who understand each other in that true fashion, the same as two people having a real conversation and truly understanding each other, the same as a man and woman making love. That is the kind of thing that me and Duane had. I knew the dude. I knew him all the way through. I admired him. I learned from him. He learned from me. To experience that with a musician of the caliber of Duane Allman is one of the greatest gifts that I've received and been able to share. Dickey Betts talking about music. It makes me feel so good that people have put so much value on something I have to offer. Like Ramblin' Man. I'm really glad people from all over the country have been able to identify with the song. I think it's a damn good expression of the kind of people our band comes from. People in the South can feel my heartbeat in that song. Down there, that song is really close to everybody. Everybody knows those places. Everybody knows about Highway 41 running down through Florida. But then again, Ramblin' Man was very popular out on the West Coast too. It makes me feel a lot more confident about my playing than ever before. It makes me want to get out there and write and sing all the more. It just tickles the hell out of me. Here's another quote. I used to listen to Chuck Berry almost religiously. I used to wear out his records getting licks off them. I would learn the lead from Roll Over Beethoven. Then when I would go and play with the band, they would do something like Whole Lot of Shakin' going on, and I didn't know how to play my own stuff from inside me, so I played the lead I had learned from Roll Over. I had all these leads that I learned from different 12-bar blues, and I switched them around. Then I started cutting them in half and piecing them together, and then, before I knew it, I was making up stuff on my own and adding that to my repertoire. At the start, we didn't have a product out, and we could see that the audience was taken by what we were playing, singing along and getting way into it, and telling us they hadn't heard anything like what we were playing. We knew what we had. The band was so good, we thought we'd never make it. In the beginning, it was so amazing, I don't even know how to put it into words. With Duane and Barry Oakley and Greg and me as songwriters, then everybody's musicianship, it developed like a Polaroid picture. Nobody knew what it was going to be. We just made rock and roll music. Music for working people, common people like me, man. It ain't no star shit or any kind of intellectual shit. We weren't any different from the people we played for, except we were a band and there was a bond between us. We were a family. When Duane was in the band, he'd play something and then I would try to extend what he was doing. Communication had always been our note. We didn't tread on each other's notes. Duane and I just used to listen to each other's licks. It almost got to the point where Duane and I were thinking as one man, and believe me, that's a very nice thing to get yourself into. We used our guitars like a brass section, playing all these harmony lines. Harmonies that sounded like they took a month to write were actually improvised. Western swing bands from the 1930s always used that twin harmony guitar, and a lot of the songs we did were influenced by that. I'm going to leave you with this banger from Dickey on his musical philosophy. How far can you see? That's how far you can play. How far can you think? Can you imagine the universe? Can you look at the sky? You can see it, so surely you must be able to imagine it. But you can imagine further than what you can see, so that's how far you can play. I'm not trying to be mushing or nothing, but that's how far you can get into somebody you care about. Whatever you can see or hear, that's yours, man. You don't have to buy it. It's yours. All you got to do is look at it, quit analyzing. When I'm playing, the first thing I have to do if I'm going to play anything to 20,000 people is quit analyzing what I'm doing. Vitamin ABB, Dickey Betts. Trust me, I'm a doctor.